is happening? My name is Matt Bradford. Welcome to my channel. I'm coming to you from my parents' garage, so please excuse the noise from the refrigerators and the sump pump and the furnace and whatever's going on. Temporary living situation. I believe we have something happening soon. We'll see. So today we're going to talk about, I want to talk about two things. This is melodic soloing 2. So in melodic soloing 1, we kind of talked about introducing the major scale. We talked about some chord shapes, etc., etc. I want to talk today about two things. I want to introduce the major pentatonic scale. And then I also want to use it in conjunction with probably the most common pop progression, which is a 1-5-6-4. We may have visitors, we'll see. And we're gonna introduce them both together because the 1-5-6-4 is, you hear it everywhere, and there's a great video. I'll see if I can link it here, but if I can't, it's the Axis of Awesome 4-chord song video. And they go through a million of these different songs that are using the 1-5-6-4 progression. And it's everything from the Beatles to, Come On Barbie, Let's Go Party, right? That progression gets a lot of hate because it's such a common progression, but it's a really great place to explore melodies. It's a really easy place to sort of move around a bunch of different stuff. It lends itself well to both the major scale and the major pentatonic scale. And the major pentatonic scale is something that I think gets overlooked a lot. And so I want to bring it up because I think it especially in the context of lap steel, where everything is so linear, we use the minor pentatonic scale a lot. But the major pentatonic scale, we don't hear it as much. It skips a couple of notes, and that's really nice. So let's start there. Real quick before we do that, if you don't want to hear the talking, I'm gonna start doing exercises here. It's gonna be pretty soon though. Real quick, I'm using my DCC Darko's Custom Creations Plexi today, and I'm using an Empress Effects compressor. I'm using my homemade Apocalypse machine, and I'm gonna be mainly probably on the neck pickup, which is a Righteous Sound Bluebird, going into Logic through the 2 notes Torpedo Captor X, and then a little bit of probably Universal Audio Pure Plate reverb and some Sound Toys Echo Boy delay. So, sounds, as you already heard. It's really nice. Okay, let's get it. Oh, one last thing. So, backing tracks and diagrams, all that stuff is available on Patreon. I hope you'll join me there. It's $5 a month as of the filming of this video. And, that's how I'm going to try to be able to continue to do lap steel videos and try to fund this, because these do take quite a while to make. So if you're enjoying the videos, if you want more lap steel videos, if you can kick down $5 a month, you get 4 to 7 backing tracks every week. You get all the diagrams and all the stuff. And, the community over there, I would like to encourage more of that as well. Like people message me and I get back to them real fast over there. But I want to get people sharing videos of how they're doing and really get it. This is a different type of lap steel, than the traditional country and bluegrass and even blues stuff. This is all very different. So there we are. So let's get into it. Today, the major pentatonic scale, before we get into the backing track at all, major pentatonic scale is here. Okay? And what we're talking about is a major scale missing the 4 and the 7. Now, if you don't know what that means, please go back and watch Melodic Soloing 1. I explain all the numbers, but we're missing the 4 and the 7. So here's the diagram, and it's the main things are, okay, so if I'm using the major scale, the licks are fine. They sound nice. But a lot of those little half steps, which is what we're taking out with the major pentatonic, right? Here's the major scale with the blue dots. That's the ones that we're taking out. And then here's just the major pentatonic scale. And we just get these a little bit bigger gaps, which can be It has that real. It's a little more soulful to me at times. It has a lyrical quality to it that sometimes those was there noises? I don't know what that was. It has a lyrical quality to it that sometimes is missing from just the major scale because it has like a little bluesier thing to it, but that also fits within a major progression. So this is the scale. Now, it's a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and then it starts over. So we have like a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. It's really nice. We'll get into all that. Okay, but so that's the progression. So let's start with this. So learning where our ones, twos, learning where our ones, threes, and fives are. We did that already in Melodic Soloing 1. So we know that that 2 frets up from our 1 is our 2. Right? We know where our 5 is. 2 frets up from our 5 is our 6. All right, so here's the progression. It's a 1, 5, 6, 4 progression. Let's just listen real quick. Anyway, it goes through that 4 times. Let's start with the same thing that we did before with the last in Melodic Soloing 1. Here's the numbers in the 1, 5, 6, 4 progression. Now you'll notice that we have some extra numbers. Let's not even use those yet. I want a number for each chord. I want to use a number from the major pentatonic scale. So against the 1 chord, I have the 1, 3, and 5. Against the 5 chord, I have the 5 and the 2. We don't have the 7 yet, okay? Against the 6 chord, we have the 6, the 1, and the 3. And against the 4 chord, we have the 1 and the 6, but we don't have the 4 yet, okay? So just stay first on the major pentatonic scale. 1 note per chord. So 3, right, 2, 1, 6, right, down to 5, yeah, 6, still 5, got crazy there, 6, 6, you see what I'm saying? We'll go back up to 1, 2, 3, up to the 6, yeah, back to 1. Down to the 5. Down to the 2. Down to the 3 rather. 1. And then 1. Now this is a, I gotta move the keyboard. I always hit stop in the middle of the video and it drives me bananas. Now, this is the same exercise we did in Melodic Soloing 1. We used all the notes. We were just using a 1, 4, 5, or 1, 4, 1, 5 progression. So now we're adding a chord, we're adding the 6, and we're making it just the major pentatonic scale. But now, let's add the blue dots, okay? When I'm using the major pentatonic scale, the 5 chord has a 7 in it, and the major pentatonic scale is not there. But here's my 7s, okay? And then when I'm looking at a 4, the 4 is not in the major pentatonic scale. So against the 4 chord, I can use my 4s, and these are my 4s. So when I add those two chord tones, it becomes a major scale. But what I want to do now is this. Okay, let's do that first. Before we jump into the next thing. Let's start, same exact thing, finding those melodies in this backing track that go through following these lines, right? So if I start on the 1, I can go up to the 2 or I can go down to the 7. Let's say I go up to the 2. So now I get to my 6 chord. I can go from the 2 either up to the 3 or back down to the 1. You see, we have these linear lines, and each one's going to allow me to move to the next chord relatively easily. So let's try that. Here's 1. Up to 2. Okay, up to 3. Right? Up to 4. We can go up to 5. Oh! Let's stay on 5. Now let's go up to 6. Stay on 6. Up to 1. Down to 7. Yeah, down to 6. Stay on 6. And then go down to the 5. Where's the 5? Oh no. I got lost. I panicked and I got lost as I was yelling stuff out. Where were we? We were on the 6. Then we go down to the 5. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. This happens. And so check it out. Like I think, you know, I like to leave the mistakes in sometimes, especially when I panic and get flustered, because it happens. And I'll talk about some panic moves too, because I have some panic moves that allow me, when I get stuck, to sort of reset. I should do a whole thing on panic moves. Just messing up in general. You know, so we're gonna call out notes, right? Now, if you watch Melodic Soloing 1, you're starting to understand. You're not starting to. You should hopefully understand what we're gonna do next, which is we're gonna add 3 notes, right? So against the 1 chord, I can travel between my 1 and my 3. There's only 1 note there, it's the 2. I can travel between my 5 and my 1. There's 2 notes there, it's the 6 and the 7. But check it out. No, don't check it out yet. We're doing this. We're staying on the major scale. Just for a second. Major scale. All right, we've done the major pentatonic. We're doing major. Here we go. 3 notes per chord. 2 notes, the starting note and the ending note, need to be in the scale. Not in the scale, in the chord. They need to be chord tones. The in-between note needs to be in the scale. So like 1, 2, 3. Right? 5, 4, 2. Yeah, 3, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Back to 3, 2, 1. 2, 1, 7. 1, 7, 6. And then 1, 7, 6 again. Yeah. The camera's overheating. I gotta let it chill for a second. But do we see what we're saying here? We see what we're saying? Like, this is starting to make sense? That we're doing the same exercise that we did in Melodic Soloing 1. We're adding a chord, and so we're gonna get into this diagram in a second. But we've also got a second move we're gonna get into. Let's get into the diagram real quick. We'll see if the camera dies in the middle of the explanation. But basically, look, one of the things that's cool about this progression is because of the way it's laid out. The reason that it's so common is because the melodies that are in there are so easy to find. You have so many options, especially, you know, coming off of this 4 chord and going back to a 1 chord. Okay, almost immediately when I started explaining that, my camera went down. So let's just do it again. This progression is awesome because it lends itself not only to a lot of great melodies, but also a lot of great motifs. Especially the second half of that chord progression, that 6 chord and the 4 chord, there's only 1 note different. So a lot of times I can get like a 3, 2, 1, and then a 4, 2, 1, or a 4, 3, 1. And it starts to, like, you can hear the chord change, but also the melody's really nice. It also, between the 6 and the 1, it's the exact same move, so you can keep that same, like, 1 to 6 or 6 to 1. and then go back to the one chord, and obviously, as you can see, the spider web of coming back to the one. There's just so many options, especially coming off of that one, where you can go down to the 6, you can stay on the 1, or you can go up to the 3. There's just so many options. So let's play all the way through now. And one of the goals I'm going to have on this playthrough, and obviously we've got a lot of playthroughs, but one of the goals I'm going to have on this playthrough is to sort of create something that stands out, something that makes you go like, oh, I recognize that that thing. So, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, but like, yeah, check it out. Not doing anything fast. We're not doing anything yet flashy and whatever. It's just trying to grab melodies. So I think you'll notice when I go through that, like it's like, ooh, anything I can do to get something to repeat. I used to have a teacher who would say, "Milk that cow till the cows come home," which is not a saying, but it makes sense, right? Like if you have something, when you hear those, like those, it's like people can sit on that forever because it really helps. And in the context of like a melodic solo, it still helps. It's not going to be that same, right? It's going to be something that has that same pattern, whether it's 3-2-1 and then I mean, it could even be a 4-3-2 if you're using a dominant 5. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're using these numbers, so just looking for things where melodic movement but rhythmic repetition, or rhythmic repetition, melodic repetition, and maybe rhythmic or not. But like, here's another one. Okay, so check it out. Let's do it again. I'm going to try to focus around the 5 note against my 1 and my 5 chord, and then around the 6 note on my 4 and my 6 chord, 6 and 4, obviously in order. But that's going to help, again, try to create some motifs, create some bite-sized places to work, like we talk about, right? It's a 5. I lost a pick there, but we're back. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Right? Let's do it again now without hopefully losing the pick, but same thing, 5 and 6. I'm starting on the 3, going to the 5. Back on the 5, and then I got a little excitable there at the end, and I missed that 6 the first time. But you know, this is my point. My point is like, is just getting into these ideas and getting into the idea that like, I want to hear things over and over again, and obviously I'm exaggerating that to this point. Now, we have talked about the major pentatonic scale, and then we used it in the initial exercise, and we haven't talked about it since. So check it out. I'm going to try to now do the same thing. I'm going to work within the context of these chord tones. I'm going to use the major pentatonic scale. I'm going to add the 7 to the major pentatonic scale when I'm playing my 5 chord, because there's a 5 in it, or there's a 7 in it, in the 5, there's a 7 in the 5 chord, so we add it to the scale, right? Against the 1, only major pentatonic. Against the 5, major pentatonic with the 7. Against the 6, only major pentatonic. And then against the 4, major pentatonic with the 4. This is one of the most important things with scales, with playing melodically or just playing in general, is like knowing what we're playing. Playing with intention. No one cares when you think, or at least I don't want to say no one. When I the guys I listen to play with so much intention, and the fast is almost my favorite guys. It's more about groove, and it's way more about melody. Melody and groove are the two things, and speed is so tertiary that, like, you know, yeah. So let's try this. So we're doing major pentatonic against the 1, major pentatonic with the 7 against the 5, major pentatonic against the 6, and major pentatonic with the 4 against the 4 chord. Now you'll notice we're not playing fast. We're trying to get notes to really ring out. I'm trying to hit notes that sound good. I want you to try to get the one note to just. That's a 1-7-6, but if you're not hearing that and you're going like, where's the tab? Take a second and just find these notes. Right? They're on the top string, and I've given you the notes here. And the two things that are the most important things are going to be playing the notes in the chords, and then also playing with intention, kind of knowing what you're going to play, not just like haphazardly guessing, but doing it with intention. So I think that's probably enough for this lesson. That's a lot of stuff. Go back to the beginning, break it down, pause it between each exercise. If you really take your time with these, I promise the fast stuff is going to come. But more importantly, the idea, the knowledge of exactly where you are at any moment, even though I was all over the place today, missing notes. That idea is one of the keys of all of this. And then the other thing is that make mistakes. Feel free to make mistakes. Make mistakes and then swear and then do it again and do it again and do it again. Because when you watch a solo that I did on Instagram, sometimes it's the first take, but sometimes there's 30 takes. You know what I mean? And when you listen to a record that you love, that was not the only take. I promise you. The idea, we're seeing it a little bit, right? People are kind of getting busted for like the overproduction and not being able to play the things that they're playing. But I'm telling you that it's not about being able to play fast. I'm telling you it's not. It's about It's just about having fun. I mean, that's at the end. That's really what it is. It's about having fun. So take your time, be gentle with yourself, play all these exercises, and we're gonna do a bunch of these melodic soloing things, right? We're talking about now about major pentatonic, playing some changes, building motifs. That's so many thoughts for one video. I should have broken this down into a bunch of them, but this is how it came out, and we're gonna keep going with this idea for a little bit. If you're not getting what you want, tell me what you want to see in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Do the Patreon thing, the whole stuff. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you.